Good morning, Unity of Music City. How's everybody doing this morning? All right, happy Sunday. Happy fun day. All right, we're going to get started with our service this morning. So on behalf of Reverend Deb Moore, I am Ryan Gill. That is Jackie and Jackson. No relation. We're going to get started today with two songs back to back. Going to get our energy up and get us focused on having a great service today. So let's sing one of our theme songs. This door is open to you. No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or you're just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. So come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. All right. Use me, oh God, I stand for you. Here I'll abide as you show me all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I abide as you show me all that I can do. Show me all that I can do. Show me all that I can do. Woo! Thank you so much, everyone. You sound beautiful this morning. All right. Are we going to have youth today? Do we have youth to dismiss? All right. All right. This is your opportunity. Not yet. No. After the next song. All right. Well, I'll just say welcome to Unity of Music City, everyone, and welcome to this amazing spiritual community we call Life. Life is our spiritual community, and we come together to appreciate it every week right here, and we share it with each other. We're all on this journey together called life, and we need the support of each other to be successful in that life. And that's why we're building this spiritual community, to support each other, to love each other. And I feel that every time I come onto this property. So welcome. We appreciate every single one of you being here today. And I do think we've got do we have some announcements? Yeah. Let's have Amy. Yeah. There you go.
I know, but two heads are always better than one. Well, I may not have quite Julie's wit, but I do research things before I come up. And little funny tidbits. Today is Gay Uncle's Day, in case you didn't know.
That would be me. I'm a gunkle.
It's Son and Daughter Day, Mountain Day. So it depends on what you like to celebrate. We've got all kinds of festive Melon Day, if you're a melon eater. Bakewell Tart Day. So who knew there was always some kind of holiday to celebrate pretty much every day. So I think that's what makes life fun and gives us a little taste of the variety and spice of life. As far as the church goes, however, today, most importantly, is also, speaking of holidays, a moving away party for our dearly beloved Annette Roper. Annette, if you would like to stand. Say,
we love
yeah,
you,
wave
Annette.
hi.
We love you.
Or you don't have to. Hopefully you know Annette. She is off to a new adventure, so we love her and we will miss her. Reservations have been made today for 12:30 at El Morisco. It is at 351 Gallatin Pike. I'm sure some of us will probably caravan over there. If you would like to follow, we would love to have you and celebrate Annette. Right. Did you guys hear that? She said she needed to make sure she got to the right place. We will definitely make sure that our guest of honor is there. Susan says it's wide open. Whoever wants to come, the more the merrier. Yes. Okay, so our spiritual summer series, Wednesday, August the 14th via Zoom. Lastly, in our series, we will delve into the world of Islam, which is the third of the Abrahamic religions. Followers of Islam are referred to as Muslim, and with the assistance of Imam Arif Husik, a Muslim and interfaith minister, teacher, and advocate, we lovingly explore questions about the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad, Mecca, and more. Come with an open heart and curious mind. Potluck meal, Sunday, August the 18th, following the service and before the Leadership Council meeting. Everyone is welcome. Please bring a dish to share. Full Moon Gathering, Monday, August the 19th at 7 p.m. Join us around the fire at Wren Road for the Sturgeon Moon. I believe this is going to be Deb's official last one. We will do other things that Frank is going to help us out with, taking a little different spin. So if you're really into how it's been, this is the last one before we move into something really exciting and awesome. Also, join Steph and Deb for Move, Groove, and Meditate Thursday, August 22nd from 6:30 to 7:30. We will move, groove with the dance fitness and gentle yoga, then relax with the guided group meditation and aromatherapy. Suggested investment is $20 for an adult or $15 for teens. And finally, Safe Paw is currently in desperate need of foster homes for cats and kittens. We have a kitten. He is so cute. I think we're going to name him Harrison. But in case you've seen, I think, yep, that's his photo up there. So join us. Yes, he owns our house. It's so awesome. He moved in and was like, yep, this is me. So if you've never fostered, I can tell you all about it. I've fostered for different groups for 10 years. So it's very rewarding, and it's a blessing to both the animal and to you and to the community. So, but see Sarah for the Safe Paw information. We also provide food or Safe Paw also provides food and veterinary care for any fostered and kittens, cats and kittens. So if you're interested, please see Sarah Esper about that. She's not here today, but you'll see her next week. Anything else? All activity and meeting links and contact members can be found on the website, the weekly happenings Google Calendar, or you can always email the church. Ryan, I'll turn it back over to you guys.
All right, thanks. And I do want to add very quickly that, Annette, we're going to miss you so much. Annette has done so much for this spiritual community, and from the bottom of our hearts, we love you, and we wish you nothing but happiness and the best on your journey, on your next phase of your journey, which means that all of the stuff that she is currently doing for us will need to be done by somebody else. And who's it going to be? So, in addition to playing the tambourine and shaking the shaker, if you've got rhythm, please see me, and we will plug you in to playing that tambourine. But also, Annette gives us a very valuable experience in reading on Sunday mornings, doing the announcements, doing the centering statement. So if you would like to read for us, the requirement is very intensive that you have to know how to read. So if you know how to read, you are qualified to do this. Please see me for information on that. We'd love to have a 1 or 2 or 3 new readers for us and for announcements in the centering statement. So yes. All right. Well, let's sing. Oh yes, please.
And also, they can probably use some more people counting.
Okay.
'Cause I've been counting for the last year. Huh?
Hospitality.
And hospitality.
See, big
too.
shoes to fill.
So, if you like to fill people's gullets, there. If you like to fill the church's coffers, there.
It's just proof positive that we have people that do a lot around here, and so we want to spread the love. That's right. All right. Well, it's time for the monthly mantra, and this is a song that really describes who we are as a spiritual community, and it was written by our former musical director, Judy Blackwelder. We're kind of doing throwback songs this month because this is August is the month that we moved into this building 2 years ago. So we're kind of doing some throwback songs in honor of where we came from, and also these speak to where we're going. So let's stand as we're able, and let's do We Are God's Children. Different backgrounds, different names, but deep inside, we're all the same. When we all treat each other compassionately, the world of skin. When we learn that it makes no difference if we cry out to Buddha or shout amen. We are all God's children. We are all one family, learning to lean on each other and to live in sweet harmony. We are all God's children. We are all one family. So let's all love one another like the way God loves you and me. Like the way God loves you and me. Please be seated.
Good morning, Unity of Music City.
Morning.
Let's begin this portion of our service by taking a deep centering breath. Today's centering thought is, I elevate my perspective and see the divine presence in each other. I elevate my perspective and see the presence of the divine. Saying, the world can feel cold sometimes, especially when I take my mind off of the divine presence that dwells within me and focus on the external. When I focus on competition instead of cooperation, discord instead of harmony, separation instead of unity, exclusion instead of inclusion, I can feel my world growing smaller and my joy leaking away. When I see the world from my human perspective, I may find it difficult to feel hopeful. But when I see the world from my spiritual self, my divine self, my perspective shifts and rays of hope, optimism, and joy start to appear. Shifting my focus to the things that are really important allows me to see the spirit in everyone and everything. That's not to say that I turn away from the more difficult aspects of life, but when I elevate my perspective to include my spiritual self, I can discern a greater truth. I can see the comfort beyond the pain, the blessing beyond the struggle, and the love that binds us all together. When I filter my life through my spiritual perspective, I see the world as it is, not as my ego self wants it to be. I hold a high watch for every member of my human family. I see the divinity in all creation, the wholeness of life, and the oneness that binds us all together. And now repeat these affirming statements after me. I am grateful for my spiritual journey that I am on. When I filter my thoughts and experiences through my spiritual self, I can live my life more authentically. I elevate my perspective and see the presence of the divine in all creation. And so it is.
good morning, everyone. I have to tell you that those centering statements are all written by Ryan, and it's my church on Sunday morning. So sometimes I stand back there taking that in, and I just need a moment. I just need a moment, because that was fantastic. So I invite you to settle into that moment with me. Let's hold on to it. Let's ride it for just a moment. Let's let it continue on. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, and do what is needed to settle the body down. God is love. God is omnipresent, which means that love is everywhere. In this moment that we take to get still, I invite you to consciously notice divine love. You're swimming in it. It's like bath water all around you. And it flows through you. In all the internal spaces and external spaces of your existence. There is the love of God. And I ask you to consider is there any part of your life where that is not enough? Is there any part of your journey where God's love is insufficient? Is there any aspect of your beingness where God's love cannot go? God is the love that heals all creation. God is the love that sustains all creation. God is the love that brings all creation back to the centered, healthy, natural state of living in the reality of God's love. Every moment. So for just a moment together, I invite us as a community to intentionally focus on divine love moving through us, moving around us, living as us in the stillness, in the silence. God is the love that heals all creation. God is the love that heals all relationships. God is the love that heals all misunderstandings. And because God and I are one, my natural state is to be the love that shows up as healing energy in every moment. I was created to be an expression of God's love on earth. And when I remember that, I am remembering who I am. I am in God. God is in me. blubbering over here like I'm at somebody's wedding or something like that. Mission accomplished. I got to tell you something. I know every song is my favorite, but my true favorite, my actual favorite, is that song we did earlier, Use Me, Oh God. Use me, oh God. Whew. I mean, that's the prayer of all of us, isn't it? I mean, we're all here, we live for a little while, we go away. Can you use me during that time? Use me however you can. So we've been doing this Spiritual Essentials series for a little while now. We're wrapping it up. Today's the last day. And this is the essential we're going to talk about today. So, you know, there's kind of two ways that you can think about the meaning of the word essential. Essential can mean kind of fundamental or basic, right? Something that is just essential to what we're dealing with. But there's another meaning of essential that is indispensable, right? Indispensable. That which you cannot do without. It is indispensable to what's going on. We talked about Jesus in our essentials along the way. Well, Jesus is not indispensable. He's not. Ask a Hindu. Ask a Muslim. Jesus is not indispensable. We talked about prayer. We talked about scriptures. We talked about spiritual wisdom. We talked about sin. We talked about all these kinds of things that are basic to our understanding in this culturally Christian soup that we're raised in. But what is the most indispensable essential? What do you think it is? Love, right? It's love. That's the one thing that we have to deal with, that we have to talk about. And the reason why Jesus has had such an impact on the world, not just in the West, that is culturally Christian, but all over the world, Jesus is one of the most important spiritual figures down through time. And part of that is because he kind of combines all of these ideas into the one central idea that is spread by all religions, and that is love. His message is 100% love, love, love. And that's why sometimes people get damaged or they have some spiritual trauma from growing up in churches where the central figure is someone who says love and all the other people carrying it out are saying judgment, judgment, judgment. Right? Let's talk about a mixed message. It is the ultimate mixed message. But when we go back to Jesus, it took me a long time. Jesus was paired with some of those things that caused damage in my life. And so for a long time, I threw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Screw you and all your followers. That's kind of where I came. Really like, forget it. I don't want anything to do with any of this. And after a while, and Jesus was like, okay. After a while, Jesus was like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to wait because it doesn't matter. I'm fine. I'm fine. But when you come back and you accept me on my own terms, when you look at me on my own terms, you're going to hear what I'm saying. I'm saying love your neighbor as yourself. I'm saying love one another as I have loved you. I'm saying this is how people will know that you love me. It's how you love one another. Right? That's all I'm saying. I used to think, and this is because I was raised in the 70s and 80s, I used to think that love was this romantic ideal like the movies showed me. My freshman year of college, one Saturday afternoon at the Hickory Hollow Cinema, my cousins and I went in for the early show, and we watched 3 times back-to-back An Officer and a Gentleman. I can still probably recite most of the lines to you. The fall of 1982, An Officer, they don't make movies like that anymore. Thank God, right? Thank God they don't make movies like that anymore. Because we got this idea about what love is, what true, deep, meaningful love is. And the first time I fell in love, the second time I fell in love, the 8th time I fell in love, I knew it. I knew I was in love because of this feeling I had. So my freshman writing classes this fall, we're going to focus on emotional intelligence. That's going to be the central theme of our classes. And so I was pulling up this wheel. I found that you can find all kinds of emotions wheels out there, all kinds of stuff about this. But I wanted to find something to put into our course shell in the eLearn platform. And so I found this emotion and feeling wheel. It might be a little too small for you to see it all, but one of the things that I noticed is that all of those feelings, a lot of those feelings that I used to equate with falling in love had more to do with surprise. They were astonished, awestruck, speechless, astounded, overcome, amazed. Doesn't that describe young falling in love right there? Right? I was just surprised. It's like, look, I have found a Navy person to carry me out of the factory, right? And so, now granted, there was some of the fondness, the romance, the rapture, the enchantment that comes over here with love and joy and things of that nature, but so much of it was wrapped up in just being surprised by what came along. And the older I get, and hopefully the wiser I get, I equate love so much more now with tenderness and compassion and caring and kindness. Kindness is love in action, right? It shifted from a reaction to something happening to me. That's what surprise is, right? I'm having a reaction to something happening to me, to a process internal to me, because love is an inside job. 100% love is an inside job. And when we talk about showing up in love, when we talk about how to be a person who lives from love, we're not talking about changing your behavior. There is nothing about your behavior I want you to change. Because if you just try to change, if you change your behavior, then you become the person who is acting in love. And sometimes we bad act in love, right? Sometimes we're really, really bad actors. Years ago, I was directing a little band of amateur theater people in an Easter production. And there was a woman who was playing Mary, the mother of Jesus. And I had written for her a very long monologue at the cross where she was expressing simply as a mother, right? Not as a follower, not as someone who believed, but as a mother, what a mother was feeling in this moment. And so during one of the rehearsals, this woman who was playing this amateur part of our theater troupe, was doing all kinds of weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. It was quite melodramatic. And I was sitting in the back going, oh, we're screwed. But fortunately, one of the people affiliated with us at that time had been on Broadway. She was a professional actress and singer, and she was very, very adept at all this stuff. She happened to be at that rehearsal, and she snuck up behind me, and she said, would you like a piece of advice? And I said, please, I need a piece. Tell me anything. She said, tell her this. Do it again, but don't you dare let us see you cry. Don't you dare let us see you cry. And what ended up happening when I was able to get that across to her was that she accurately, perfectly depicted the struggle, the fight, the pain, not knowing what you should express and what you shouldn't. I mean, it changed everything. In other words, what we were trying to say to her was, don't act like you're sad. Be sad. And then just do whatever happens, right? Be love in your heart and act the way you always act. Act the way, you'll change. Oh, your actions will change when you begin steeping in love. But if you try to show up as love and you don't really feel it, it's not a part of who you are, people are going to see right through that, right? The tough guy, we see his weakness, don't we? Don't we see the weakness in the tough guy? Because when you put on an act, people can see right through you. Be love, and then behave just like yourself. So you notice that I put the love in green. I'm wearing green. Frank's wearing green. I guess that's it. Nobody else is. Some people are wearing green. You got a little green on back there. So why is that? Of course, that heart chakra, we dealt with the chakras, right? The heart chakras are green, the anahata chakra. Anahata means unstruck. So when you think about that heart chakra as a space where you are undamaged, where you are whole, and it is a combination of the yellow, the Manipura chakra, and the blue, the Vishuddha chakra. Yellow and blue make green, right? So the wisdom and the expression meet in the heart, right? And that green is the color of healing, the color of new life, the color of compassion, of unconditional love, empathy, joy, connection to the world, safety, nature, our natural beingness. Right? When I think about an officer and a gentleman type love, I don't think green, I think red, right? I'm totally thinking red. But that green love, that healthy place, we best love from a healthy, natural, connected, compassionate state of being. So I'm pulling 3 verses today. I'm actually using the Bible. I know. Sometimes I just have to do it. I'm actually using the Bible. All these Bible verses are from the Message. Tucked way back in the back of the New Testament, right before Revelations, are 3 little books known as 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. They're so little, I think the 3rd one only is like 1 chapter. It's like, they're letters, they're true letters. And theologians believe that these were written by someone they refer to as John the Evangelist. And it's not the Apostle John. It's not the writers of the Gospel of John. Someone totally different. And they date these writings to about 100 years after the life of Jesus. So this is like if someone today was writing a letter and talking about Calvin Coolidge or someone like that, right? And so, although we don't really know much about Calvin Coolidge except that he was Silent Cal, but nonetheless. So this is someone, you can see in some of these letters the beginnings of kind of religious thought, religious ideals, but overwhelmingly what he's talking about in these letters is love. And I'm going to pull out 3 verses from the Message so that we can kind of think about how we live as love and show up as love. The first one goes like this: my dear children, let's not just talk about love, let's practice real love. This is the only way we'll know we're truly living in God's reality. Living in God's reality. How many of you have ever read like the 4 Agreements or any of that Toltec wisdom where they talk about everything here is a dream? Or Maya, the illusion. We're living in Maya, the illusion. That's the reality that is not God's reality, right? And it's an illusion. Truly living in God's reality, it's also the way to shut down self-criticism even when there is something to it. We're going to get back to that in just a second. For God is greater than our worried hearts and knows more about us than we do ourselves. Oh, that right there, that's the whole Bible in a couple sentences. Like you could throw the rest away. You could just take that right there. Let's practice real love. I love this idea. It's the way to shut down self-criticism, even when there's something to it. Now, here's the balance that I think is a really healthy balance to have. We can lean really heavily over into, I just want to give myself a break, right? And sometimes we need that. We're so good at criticizing ourselves that I'm just going to self-love myself over here. I'm okay. Everything I do is okay. But sometimes we do things that we need to take ownership for. Sometimes we show up in ways and we show out and we need to own it, right? But can we do that without landing in a place of self-criticism? Probably the most important spiritual growth that I personally have ever had is the slow, long unfolding of the way I deal with myself. And being able to look myself in the mirror and say, man, you didn't show up the way you wanted to then. And it doesn't have one bit of impact on how okay I am. Right? I'm still a divine child of God. That never changes. That never changes. You see, it's this balance between giving ourselves grace and being honest with ourselves. Being able to do both of those, because both of those are love. Some of the most loving things I've ever done with myself is to say, you don't want to show up that way anymore, do you? That didn't feel good. And you're going to look at how you created that situation. That's all you can look at, really. Because you want to live in real love. So the first place of doing that, of course, is learning how to appropriately love ourselves. We talked about Brene Brown a moment ago. Here's the goddess of emotions right here says, talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. How many of you, you don't have to raise your hands because everybody would raise their hands. How many, maybe I'm the only one who has ever had this come out of my mouth, you stupid idiot. Right? About myself. I've done it. You stupid idiot. Would I say that to my child? Now, I gotta. Maybe, possibly. Let me ask that, which one? Would I say that? We have to stop and think about how we want. Would I want to say that? But no, that's not a good question either. Should I say that to my child, perhaps? What if we could stop and when we catch ourselves, because we still do it, we catch ourselves going, you stupid idiot. We call ourselves names. What if we literally stopped? And I don't know about you, but when I say that out loud. Right? You stupid idiot. So when I convert it, I need to say that out loud too. What if I stopped myself and said, wait a minute, you know what? Focus. You can do this. Breathe. Try again. Right? What if we turned, come on, man, get it together, into, you're tired. You didn't sleep well last night. You might just need some rest. Compassion toward ourselves, kindness toward ourselves. What if we turned, I can't believe I did that, into, you know what? Everyone makes mistakes, and you made one, and it's okay. It's going to be okay. Right? If you became the voice that brings yourself back from the place your emotional self wants to take you, then we can be gentle with our own heart and reparent ourselves and convince our inner child that this inner space we share together is a safe space for them. They're only going to hear things that affirm them and build them up. And then we can begin to practice that real love in the world around us. And we have so many opportunities, don't we? The modern world gives us so many opportunities to practice real love. Modern life has all these built-in opportunities. How can we transform non-loving energy to loving energy? Whether it's traffic or standing in line at the grocery store or overhearing a conversation in a restaurant with people who might vote differently than you. Whatever it is, whether it's someone, I'm talking about general humanity out there, the nameless strangers that we're around all the time, but we don't directly interact with. What an opportunity to be the energy of love. Here's the thing. You're in the traffic anyway. You're there anyway. You have this opportunity. Every moment is an opportunity to transform non-loving energy into loving energy. We already know that the person in front of you does not know how to drive. You don't need to say it. But what if you began to think of that person in front of you as someone you love? What if you started talking to yourself as someone you love, and then you sent it to a stranger? What if you envision that person in front of you as your child that you hope is driving carefully, and you hope all the people around your child are being patient and are in a good frame of mind, right? What an opportunity to shift the energy that you have, and then you send it to the next car, and you send it to the next, and you send it to the next. Will they feel it? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not about them. It's about you. It is not about them. It's about you digging the love rut in your brain so deep until it's impossible to crawl out of it. What can I do in this moment how can I feel love in this moment? How can I better feel love in this moment? If you want to live in God's reality daily, hourly, moment by moment, practice real love wherever you are. Don't put on an act. Don't do anything differently. Be different. Be different. The next verse I want to share is from 1 John 4:20-21. It says, if anyone boasts, I love God, and goes right on hating his brother or sister, thinking nothing of it, he is a liar. Ain't no messing around. If he won't love the person he can see, how can he love the God he can't see? The command we have from Christ is blunt. Loving God includes loving people. You've got to love both. Loving God includes loving people. No getting around it. Well, I love most people. But some are just a challenge. I just ignore them. Well, I love some parts of God. But some are just a challenge. I just ignore them. I love some parts of creation, but some are just a challenge. I just ignore them. I love nature documentaries, right? I love them, but when the cheetah starts chasing the gazelle, I want to turn it off. Last week, I have like 4 bird feeders in my front tree outside. And last week, I was sitting in my home office, and all of a sudden, I heard this raucous bird conference going on, like, it was like there was some kind of, they were singing the congregational song or something. And it was so loud, I thought something's going on out there. So I ran out. The front of my house is like all windows, and I ran out to look out, and I see on the ground, I see a small hawk on the ground with his wings spread like this, right? And at first, all the birds are up in the tree, just, and the very first thought I had was, oh, that hawk is injured. Poor hawk, right? And then, of course, as I began to realize what was happening, I realized that the hawk had a songbird, right? It had attacked the songbird, and all the other birds were up there yelling at it. And I was thinking to myself, what do I do? Maybe if I open the door and I run outside, I can scare the hawk away, right? But maybe I should just let nature take its course. In the process, while I was trying to figure out what to do, the hawk did straighten up its wings and flew away with the little songbird in its claws. I was sick to my stomach, right? It was, those kinds of things just go right to me. I felt responsible. I mean, I put the bird feeders out there, right? It was like a black widow spider with a neon sign saying, "Come into my parlor," said the spider to the fly, right? And so I felt a little responsible. But the more I thought, the birds, by the way, pretty quickly got back to normal. Eating at the feeder, right, whatever they were doing. And I began to think, what if that mama hawk has a little nest somewhere with some babies that she's got to feed? And this is what nature has her do, to feed those babies. I mean, it's complicated. There are parts of the world that are hard to look at, but they're all part of what's going on. I was listening to NPR this week, and I heard a guy who was talking about World War II and the Japanese, the actions of the Japanese in the last couple of months of World War II. And he was talking about the 2 bombs that the United States dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And he said, this is the part of the equation that's really hard for us to look at. He said, so many people lost their lives on that day. But it ended a war that was taking 30,000 lives every week. And he said, all I know, my little bleeding heart historian only looks back and go, we dropped an atomic bomb, we're horrible. And I'm not saying the atomic bomb was good. Please don't get that with, okay, I'm not going there. What I'm saying is the world is complex. And sometimes we don't know everything we think we know. And sometimes even the parts that are hard to love are worth a second look. But what about those people I don't like? Now, it's one thing, people I don't like, but what about those people who deny my humanity? What about those people who create policies that go right to an existential threat to me and my family? What about those people who use their power to restrict me? That's where it gets a little bit difficult, Deb. Come on. A couple years ago, we dealt with this book right here, Valerie Kaur's See No Stranger. We're going to go back and do a little revisiting of this. She's got a new book coming out on September 10th. I've already pre-ordered it. It's called Sage Warrior. And this is perfect stuff to talk about during an election year. How to stay spiritually centered and show up as a social justice warrior all at the same time, right? And so we're going to be revisiting this a little bit. But what Valerie Kaur said about those people is this: I've learned that we do not need to feel anything for our opponents at all in order to practice love. Love is labor that returns us to wonder. Love is the work that returns us to curiosity about each other. It is seeing another person's humanity even if they deny our own. Consider the person most difficult for you to conjure up feelings of love about. I already have him in my head. Think about them as a child who craved love and maybe didn't get it. Think about them as a little toddler who needed to feel security, who needed to feel safety. Put aside their positions and judgments and behavior and just see their humanness, just their humanness. Just see their spiritual essence. Perhaps you might consider that their spiritual essence is so covered up that of course they're in pain. Know, by the way, that the condition of their spiritual essence is none of your business. But from our perspective, if it helps us to love them better, to see that maybe their spiritual essence is in pain and crying out, that it helps us to come back to love a little bit better. Years ago, there was a great movie, not a romantic movie, a movie called Hook with Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams, right? It's one of my favorite movies ever. And in the moment where the grown Peter Pan is about to defeat Hook, right? He is absolutely there about to defeat Hook. One of the grown Peter's children says this: he's just a mean old man without a mommy. Stop. He's just a mean old man without a mommy. I mean, isn't that what every bully is? Isn't that what every single person who shows up in a way to restrict or confine or defeat another is someone crying out for love? A child's heart can see it. Our natural way of being is one of compassion, even toward those who seem incapable of showing compassion. Zora Neale Hurston, the writer of the early 20th century, said, "Love makes your soul crawl out from its hiding place." Love is what heals people. People can seem hard and mean and cruel, but the best miracles happen when love manages to pull them out from the place of pain. You've seen it happen. When love manages to pull them out from the place of pain, and you can see the conversion. You can see them lighten. You can see them become a different person. Their soul has crawled out from its hiding place. And while their soul is hiding, we love them. We love them. The third verse I want to share with you is this: God is love. When we take up permanent residence in a life of love, permanent residence every day, 24/7. When we take up permanent residence in a life of love, we live in God and God lives in us. This way, love has the run of the house, becomes at home and mature in us so that we're free of worry. Our standing in the world is identical with Christ's. I am in God. God is in me. Christ consciousness is love consciousness. The Buddha nature is the love nature, right? Permanent residence in a life of love is the whole point. And we create that residence by doing our inner work, by emptying our inner space of everything that we're attached to, so that love, the natural essence of divine creation, flows freely through us. And we just live we live in the love. We just live in the love, because love is what rushes in to fill the void. This inside job of living love, being love, loving, that is our work. That is our essential work. It has nothing to do with how other people show up, how other people vote, how other people drive, how other people love. It's nothing to do with them. It's all about how I am. The Dalai Lama said, happy people build their inner world. Unhappy people blame their outer world. Right? It's an inside job. But look at the way the world is today. I mean, surely I can blame it. The world is so messed up. Honey, the world is the world. The world is the world. The world has always been messed up. Pick a time in history. 1321. I can tell you all kinds of crazy things that were happening in 1321, right? Wars and famines and, oh, don't even get me started on the Crusades, right? The world has always been the world. The same dynamics have been at play in this physical world since its creation. And it is the perfect laboratory for discovering the alchemy that transforms pain to love. Why else are we here? It's the perfect laboratory for discovering the alchemy that turns fear to love, that turns hatred to love, that turns bullying to love, that turns judgment to love. Transforms pain. Removes fear. We are here to learn how to love. That's it. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you do it by reading a Bible or a Bhagavad Gita or by becoming a Muslim. I don't care if you do it by being an agnostic or an atheist. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we learn how to love, real love, unconditional love, even as I have loved you. The writer Bell Hooks said, all awakening to love is spiritual awakening. I'm on a journey, Deb. I want to be enlightened. I want to be awakened. I want to be like the guru. Awaken to love. Doesn't matter what you wear. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters except awakening to love. All of the other trappings of your spiritual journey, prayer, meditation, yoga, reading, workshops, coming here on Sunday morning, all of those are negotiable. All of those are negotiable. Love is not negotiable. You can wear a japamala or not. Doesn't matter. Right? You can read the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or A Course in Miracles or not. Doesn't matter. You can follow Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or not. But you can't find peace until you follow in the footsteps of love. I believe that with everything within me. The power of all the trappings, the prayer, the scriptures, the teachers, the practices, the only power they have is how well they point you to love. Do they help you love better? In everything, ask, does this help me love better? Does this help me love more? Did scrolling for an hour on Facebook this afternoon help me love better? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Depends on how the algorithm sees you. Right? So, in speaking about love, people are maybe surprised that I didn't mention 1 Corinthians. That's the great love verse, book of the Bible, right? Love is patient. Love is kind. Tells us all the things that love does. I'm going to give you one last verse from Corinthians 16:14, not the chapter about love is patient, love is kind. But listen to this: let everything you do be done in love. Let everything you do be done in love. And the only way to do this without some really bad acting is to take up permanent residence in a life of love every moment. That means in traffic. That means in line. That means at church. Namaste.
We let the love wash over us, and we let it be. That's exactly what I was thinking of. I thought, how should she wrap this up? And I thought, well, we sing that all the time, right? We let the love wash over us, and we let it be. And wow, what a great lesson, especially this time of this year. We definitely need a little bit more love in our society and in our lives, that's for sure. So I want to share with you for just a moment. I don't do a lot of sharing from my perspective, but there has been, for me, over the last couple of weeks, a great gratitude that has been building and building and building for this spiritual community. And we talk about gratitude all the time, and we talk about embodying gratitude every day of our lives. But personally, I have seen this at work in our community. Speaking from the president of the executive council's perspective, we have had some unexpected expenses come up, as you know, we have in our regular lives, and you know, it's our job to look at the bills and figure out how we're going to pay them. And so we had our church secretary's laptop just die. And so we needed to get that replaced. We've had a tree that was sick out in the front yard that needed the care and attention to be removed and put out of its misery, and that had to be done. We've been trying to get this stage built for 2 years now. We wanted to get that done, and all of this stuff costs money. And so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, so how are we going to do this? And so I put it out. I put it out to you, this spiritual community, and guess what? All of you answered the call. Someone stepped up and paid to have the tree removed and the stump grinded. All of the expenses were paid, and volunteers showed up to put this stage together, and it looks so professional. Every time we have put out the call for you guys to step up and above and beyond what you normally do, which is a lot, you guys have answered the call, and I want to say how much gratitude that I have for you. It has been nearly overwhelming. In my quiet time with God this past week, I said, God, I feel overwhelmed by this. And God said, why? This is normal. This is normal. This is the spiritual community. This is what you do. So I appreciate you so much, and I wanted you to know that. I want you to hear that personally from me. You have a lot of my gratitude today. So I'll open it up for you. What are you grateful for the week that was? What are you grateful for in your life? Okay. Crystal. See, that was one of our expenses. The church needed a new computer for the streaming and the PowerPoint and all of that stuff, and that someone stepped up and purchased that for the church. And it's all of these things that I'm thinking, boy, you guys make my job a lot easier. So I'm definitely grateful for that. But no, definitely appreciative of the CPU there in the sanctuary. What else? Annette. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just grateful and thank you for the love and support you've shown me over the last 10 years.
10 years. Wow. For the people online, Annette is grateful for their spiritual community.
And an ugly crying, not a crier. Not happy for it, but
Annette's a Navy veteran, and crying's not in their repertoire. Not so much. All right. Anybody else? What are you grateful for today? I am grateful for tomatoes. Great time of the year for that, right? Anybody? Anything else? Friends. Grateful for friends.
I'm grateful for Ryan, for you, like you're grateful for us, you and Dad. I'm grateful for that sermon, which I think is one of the top 10
Mm.
I've ever heard in my whole life.
Yes. Grateful for the lesson today, definitely. It's all about love, y'all. Anybody, anything else? All right. Well, let's sing about the abundance that we have from all this love. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life. I live in the midst of infinite abundance, and life gives back to me. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life. I live in the midst of infinite abundance, and life gives back to me. And life gives back to me. Let me remind everybody to check the What's Happening newsletter that comes in your email every week, every Tuesday, to keep you updated on what's coming on. We appreciate you attending the events here and being a part of this community. Let's all stand up and say the prayer for protection together as we prepare to leave. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are one. Here we go. We are one with God and one with each other. Everyone we meet is our sister and brother. You be you, and I'll be me. We're all members of one family, live in harmony. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you back next Sunday.